Chinka chinka, chinka chinka chinka. Oh, I actually got the clinky. I love that sound. Two glasses clinking together. That's an
Great sound.
Yes. Hello, everybody. This is Em and Jules from
Hi,
Wire
everyone.
Wasteland. Yay! This is our first little have a pint and a chat with Wire Wasteland. And today, Jules and I are going to chat with you guys. We're going to chat with each other. Both of us have done several interviews over the course of our musical careers, and interviews are always really fun. So we thought, what if we interview each other? There's some things that we could share that, we might not have gotten to answer in the past. So, yay, Jules, thank you so much for doing this with me.
No, thank you for suggesting it. I'm in agreement, it's just, both of us, we've had interviews and, I do, as much as I've really enjoyed those interviews, there's been certain things that I've wanted to talk about that I've not had the opportunity to.
Same for me. Same for me. And also, it's fun. Just Jules and I every week for, gosh, how long now?
Oh God, it's been
a year, almost
over
a year and a half
now. Yeah, well over a year. I think we started talking to each other in October last year, I think.
2019.
It was I've forgotten what.
No, wait, I know.
2019, 2019 November, I think maybe even we started chatting. Actually, visual telephone conversation. Yeah.
And every Friday we have a couple drinks together, and it's like our weekly end of the week unwind and relax, and we talk about music and we talk about art, and we've been, honestly, Jules has been keeping me sane throughout this entire pandemic.
She's been keeping me sane too.
Oh my God. I don't know what I would do without you. I would be a raving lunatic.
Ha ha, they're coming to take me away. Ho ho, hee hee, ha ha, to the funny farm.
I'm already a nutball, but I would literally be in a padded cell if it wasn't for you, so
You're a lovely nutball.
So are you, without the nutball, minus the nutball part. I have some questions that I have put together here from Miss Lovely Jules Straw. And, one thing I wanted to say quickly, if you're not familiar with Wire and Wasteland, Jules and I, this is our duo project together, and for this project, Jules is songwriter, vocalist. She's an incredible producer, and we're going to get into that later. For this project, I'm doing the production side of things, and so we're Wire and Wasteland. So here's the first question that I have.
Em is an incredible producer too.
Oh, bless you. Always so gracious, Jules is. Always so gracious to me.
I think you know a little bit more about production than I do, actually, to be fair.
This next question is going to prove you wrong. My first question is, how old were you when you first got into music production?
Okay. I was 16 years old. I remember I did music at school. I did it as part of my options. Over here in the UK, we have something called, I don't know if they still do it now, actually. But at the time, it was part of, I chose it as part of my options. I wanted to do music. And so I did that. And I played keyboards, kind of just messing around with, keyboards. And my mum bought me a Yamaha keyboard with a digital synthesizer on it. So I was very excited about that.
Thank you, Jules, Mom. Thank you.
I've always been interested in electronic music from quite a young age. And so I started sort of messing around with this Yamaha keyboard, making sounds on it, being fascinated by it. And then later on, when I turned 6, this was whilst I was still at school, so it's before I was 16. And then I turned 16 and my parents got me an Amiga A600 computer. And I bought some sampling tracker software for it. Some people out there might know what tracker software is. It's how a lot of early rave producers started doing music, you know, it was very basic. You'd have like, you'd take your samples and you'd put them in. You'd have like 4 channels, 2 hard left, 2 hard right. So if you wanted a stereo sound, you'd put the same sample on a left and a right channel at the same point. I'm going off on a tangent here, but
no, this is the fun stuff. I want to know about this because honestly, it's mind-blowing to me. When I was 16 years old, electronic music production was something that I would look at like climbing Mount Everest. Like, no, there's no way that I could possibly. I just had that. So it was like, oh, I could play guitar or I could play bass or something like that. But
that's amazing to me because I don't know what to do with the guitar. So if you give me a guitar, what do I do with that? So yeah, so that's amazing to me.
So were you? Yeah. I'm curious to know with the drums. Were you using like drum machines, like any of the old like Roland drum machines, or did you use your keyboard?
I used my keyboard. Yeah, I would sample. I would make samples. This software allowed me to. Some people out there might want to know what the software was.
Oh yes, they will. Oh yes.
I think it was called Techno Sound Turbo 2. Anyone can look that up if you want. And yeah, it enabled me to just sample the keyboard. And you could edit the samples and then you put it into the tracker software and you'd arrange it into musical pieces. Yeah.
That's incredible. And that's the thing too, back then, I mean, even in the early 2000s, working with any kind of electronic music production, it was a kind of a slog, right? I mean, now everything is so simple. Like you've got your DAW and you're good to go. Back then it was like, if you want to record vocals into anything, that's a whole different program. If you want drums, you've got a rack full of gear, you know, where now like it's in my DAW. I've got all my rack in my DAW and it's, you know, it's so much simpler. But back then that was like, woo, only the like really amazing people were even thinking about. So I'm just seriously a 16-year-old young woman.
Oh, I was just a dabbler. I didn't really know what I was doing, and the stuff I was doing. If I was to listen to it back now, it'd probably be really embarrassing and cringy. But you know, I was having fun with it, and I wasn't really taking it that seriously at this point. I was just interested, just curious, and just messing around. And later on, it progressed to using a PC. And I eventually started using, I'm condensing this because it's just going to go on and on and on. I progressed to using Cubase, which is Cubase Lite, which is the version that came out in the year 2000. So this is how long Cubase. I've been doing Cubase. God, I'm so old now.
Oh, whatever. We're like fine wine trolls, okay?
Fine wine.
We're better.
Yeah. Oh dear. So I just started doing that, and then I got more into, you know, probably a bit more into production from there. And I'm still learning. I mean, no, I'm not an expert by any sense of the word. You know, I just enjoy learning things. I think.
Well,
I think that
everything
keeps it fresh.
All these years that you've put into your production shows. When I listen to your music, this is somebody that knows what she's doing and is just absolutely incredible. Especially your synth work. Oh my God.
It's all accidents. It's all accidents, honestly.
She's so humble. Do you hear this? Do you hear this humbleness coming out of this woman? Do you hear this humility? She's that's just how she is.
I'm being serious. I'm being serious. I just kind of just make it up as I go along, really, and just sort of go with it. So when we're working together as Wire Wasteland, I will sometimes have like a song idea, and I'll get the basic of the song, you know, the structure, and then I'll record some vocals that I'm happy with, happy for you to use, and then I send stems over to you to listen. What is your process from that point? If you like the track that you hear and you want to work on it, what's your initial process involved with that?
That is an awesome question, and it's funny because you just said, like, if it's something that you like, literally there's not been a single thing that this woman has sent me that has not been just absolutely stunning and amazing.
Still time.
Oh, so what I will do, because you always, bless you, you always say the BPM is this, so I will open up my DAW, and also you're always so wonderful to say, here's the full thing all together so that you can hear it all together and then hear the stem. So I'll do a listen through and instantly go, oh my God, yeah, I want to work on that. I open up my DAW, set the BPM to the timing, and I drop in all the stems, and then I just start going and listening through stem by stem. And I usually will color code the stems so that it's like, this one is a definite, this one is a maybe, this one is, or depending on what instrumentation it is. So like if it's percussion, usually I'll just color them all green so I know this is all the percussion. Usually I will, I'll go in with your melody part. I'll usually start with your pads, and I'll go in with the pads and the bass, and I'll start with the foundation, and I'll just go stem by stem, just kind of basically tweaking the mix a little bit. A lot sometimes, because I love those super low sub bassy tones. Like I'll take your awesome synth bass, give it like more of that like low end sound. That's basically all I do with everything you send me, is just like, this is cherry, how can I make it more cherry? A lot of the VSTs that I'll use, like the Brower Motion Stereo that I mentioned to you, I like to use that on some of your synths because it's like the super easy, user-friendly way to get these kind of phasing effects where things are moving in and out and all around you. So instead of just like panning it slightly or doubling it. Yes. So you've got everything kind of moving around you. I know we both like music where it's almost like, wow, I just like stepped into that song. So that's always super fun. A lot of the time too, like, how I really, the one thing that I always will go in and do, and that's not forever, like I'm sure we'll have tons of tracks where you have written all the percussion, but that's the one thing that I do go in and go, all right, I'm going to just see what I can do with the percussion, because it can so quickly change the atmosphere of a track. And like all the percussion you send me, especially like the glitchy hats and stuff, I love everything that you send me. So I'm just like, all right, I love this sound. No, it's all, I mean, seriously, I'm like, all right, I want to just play off of that more. I want to like really take it up to like a crazy glitchy place. So I listen to each stem and then go, all right, how do I elevate? That's all I want to do, is just elevate. And then I'll start. Usually I'll tackle your vocals last because as I always say, they're so perfect when you send them over. Perfectly on key.
Wait, there's still time for me to send you a dodgy one. I'm sure I've sent you a dodgy one. You're just being polite.
No, absolutely not.
Darkness grips, life is fragile. Changing pace, open tactile. I tried to reach you, but you weren't there.
I mean, usually 15 minutes per stem for your vocals. Like, if I want to get really, really fancy, then I might go in and add like a glitch chopper or something like that. Where
you've done some amazing work on. I think when you sent me back both ways, when you'd done those vocal chops on the chorus bit, I was just like, bloody hell, this is really amazing. It's just wow. So yeah, I love it. I love all the little bits and pieces. All the detail is just fabulous.
always also like try to, because the song structures that you write are flawless. So I try not to. All I ever want to do is elevate. So the most that I usually do with your tracks is like, okay, I'm going to just let this ring out for like a couple of bars before we hit the chorus, or I'm going to add, an extra few bars to the intro and give it a little bit more of a riser or something to like oomph it up. But like your songs are you write amazing songs. So again, thanks. This is like, somebody handing me like this perfectly made cake, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'll put a couple of little icing roses on it, and then it's done. I didn't have to do anything. I just, took this beautiful thing that was already beautiful and just went tweak, tweak.
Both ways was very basic, though, when I sent it you. It was just like this idea I had. I sometimes just, songs and pieces of music, they just flow, and it just happened. And that was just one of those things that just happened one afternoon. I was just messing about with some chord structures.
One afternoon.
And then I came up with the song idea in the afternoon. The following day, because I worked on the lyrics a little bit, and then the following day I was then able to lay down some vocal tracks.
You're amazing.
And let me. Sometimes it is just very quick, and other times it takes a lot longer. That was one of the quicker ones.
I've got to have like a little quick brag here too. Our song Both Ways won Best Original Song at the Venice Film Festival last year. And that we were both in tears, and like, I know this is like a team win for both of us, Jules, but like that was the song that you wrote, this beautiful song. Again, I just produced it, so like that.
She just produced it. She just made it. I sent her a demo, and she added some wicked padding to it. And honestly, you made it. It was a pop song when I sent it you. It was one of those really basic demo pop songs. It got a really basic 4/4 beat, because it was just an idea at the time. And I just remember you sending me the snips back initially, and this is what I've done. I hope you like it. And I was like, it's effing amazing. So it's so good.
What you wrote is amazing, and I love the way that you describe this song sometimes as a ballad, because it really does have that kind of ballad sound, which I love, which is so moving. Like the way,
you took it into a ballad territory though, because the initial song itself was quite pop,
which I love.
You kind of slowed it down, because I remember you saying, I think initially you said, I've taken your drums out, which I was completely fine with, because whatever I send you, I'm not precious about it.
She'll always say that too, just so you guys
it's
know.
True, I'm not. Whatever. It's all about, for me, it's all about the finished product, and music's not a product, but it's all about the finished piece, finished article. You took it into a ballad territory because you stripped my drums out and you put your own drums in, and you put your impacts in, the driving sounds and the atmospherics. It just made it what it was.
So, Miss Jules, my next question for you, my dear, is and this is something that I didn't even realize with each track as we were working on Return to the Light. A couple of them, we all tend to hear a song, hear the lyrics, and that's what's so beautiful about art, is that we all interpret it different ways, however it strikes us is how it strikes us. And so there were songs where I was like, oh, this feels so deeply personal and resonates with me so much. But after I think the first couple of songs, I was like, I want to. And it's funny too, because lyrics can be so personal. So I didn't want to be like, I remember even saying like, if this is something that you're not comfortable telling me, but I would love to know what is the inspiration behind this song and this song. So that's something that I really would like to hear more about with the tracks on Return to the Light. Your inspiration for them, where that came from, what were you drawing from when you wrote that EP?
And I'm completely okay talking about this. I was open about it from day one, really. in 2018, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm okay. I'm all clear. But obviously at the time it was very harrowing, you know, it's the only way to describe it. And when you come out of it initially, inevitably, I suppose as a musician and a songwriter, it's going to come out in some lyric form, you know, it's going to be processed. And I guess I started working with you, and I think that enabled me to kind of give a voice to it and really, you know, process it in lyric form, I suppose. But the ones that are particularly around that topic is Gravity, the lyrics on Gravity. Bit where I kind of sing about waves cascading inside. It's about emotions. It's all emotion and metaphor. It's all metaphorical. And it talks about how when I was first diagnosed and how that felt. You know, how, almost like time kind of stands still. You see the time rushing by. It's like yeah. And scar tissue is where I said there's a line in there, it's this treachery in my circuitry, where I'm kind of almost, it's almost like I'm alluding to myself being a robot, but I'm not. But
that's brilliant.
It's like this thing that was grown inside me was treacherous. It was my own cells that had sort of turned against me, damn them. So it was, you know, that's kind of where that came from, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. There's in the both ways. There's like there's kind of fragments of it in both ways where I sing in this we are strong. You know, I'm kind of referring to myself and maybe my partner Paul. You know, we're together. We're dealing with this. And yeah, it's all kinds. And looking both ways, it could have gone. You know, could have been so different, but it wasn't. And yeah, there's so much metaphorical stuff in lyrics all the time, isn't there? You know,
and
but
that's something, there are so many people right now that are battling cancer. And when you told me about this, it was just so powerful. It just hit me right between the eyes, because even though we'd already had conversations about what you'd been through, it was just, and I went and sat back down and listened to every single track with those ears and was like, oh my God, this is something that would be, especially in this We Are Strong. Scar Tissue, I was so excited about that track because I was like, I wanted to see, like, I'm like, obviously it's just super dark. I sent you over this super dark industrial style track. And
brilliant. Loved it.
It's brilliant because of what you've done to it, what you've added to it. But I wanted to know, I'm like, I want her to unleash the inner beast. I want to hear, like, the Jules dark coming out, and you just nailed it. I mean, you just sound so powerful and amazing, and like, but again, listening to it again with those different ears was like, now it's even more powerful. Hearing that, and that's such a brilliant analogy of thinking of it, like, because we kind of are. I mean, we kind of are robots in a way.
Or biological machines. We're wonderful biological machines, but that's what we are.
I'm just so happy that you're still here with us, because thank goodness I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
And thank you for being willing to talk about this, because I know this is a difficult subject that's incredibly traumatic. Any of us being literally faced with death, like facing that down, especially at such a young age, like, would just be, my world is completely upside down immediately, overnight. Like, that would just be, so you're the strongest woman I know, and I'm so proud to know you.
What are some of your favourite plugins and soft synths?
That's a good question.
What are your go-to, things?
My go-to things are usually, and it's funny because they've changed over the years, but right now I am absolutely addicted to this VST called Submarine. It's like a take on an 808, kick, or an 808. But it's not the typical kind of old school. It's like an 808 on steroids. Infected Mushroom, I use their VST wider. On literally like half of the vocals that we do, because it's this, I mean, I still will do panning by hand all the time. It's just, you just go in and you pan. Like, usually the only things that I keep, like, right smack in the center are the kick drum, the snare, and then the lead vocal. Everything else I will have panned to some degree.
I was going to say, when you do your panning, is that like an automation thing then that you do? Do you record it as automation?
I so far have only done that a few times. Usually I'll just go into my mix channel, like to the master mix channel. And so if I've got like 5 vocal stems of yours, like 2 backing, and then sometimes I like to double your vocal. I usually just pan 7 off, 7 left, 7 right, 7 left, 7 right. But because sometimes if you have vocals that are too wide, it'll actually throw you off. It's like your ears are going like, what's going on right now? Wider is great because you can literally just go, add wider. How much wider do you want it? 10%? 50%? 100%? And it's just like, boom. It's amazing. Infected Mushroom.
What's up? Infected Mushroom.
You can see the actual audio waves, how it's going to sculpt it. And that's always helpful to have these visual representations for me.
And let's go to the area of the 3x4. 3x4. Open the gate and the bed. Oh yeah.
I love that a lot. And for drum loops, I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Rex, but like, I love Dr. Rex.
Yeah,
like,
Dr. Rex is part of Reason, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't use Reason. I'm such a Cubase head. If you put another door in front of me, it'd probably take me a whole year to figure it out.
I'm right there with you, because not too long ago I opened up Pro Tools. I think I accidentally opened it up, and I was just sitting here looking at it going, on a good day, I think I could still drag something in here and drop it. Like, it's just so... And I've had so many people recommend Reaper 2-string animators that I had for Contact that the licenses expired. And I miss them so bad because that is, like, the only way that I've found to get that true, like, make it sound like somebody's actually playing a violin, like that motion and that movement, because, you know, if I sit down on my keyboard, I can't get that. I mean, no matter how much editing I do. List probably a mile long. It's like, I want this one and this one and that one and this one and this one and this one. But then it also helps, like you and I have talked before about how, you know, sometimes less is more. And like, I find myself sometimes, like, the more I have at my disposal, the more I'm just kind of sitting here going for hours.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah. Which way? I could go any of these 500 ways, and which one is the best? And sometimes it's nicer if you just have, you know, 2 or 3 options, and you're like, that one, and now I can just go in and make it awesome. Yeah. This is going to be a fun one for you, Jules. All right. So, last year, fall last year, we'd been on hold for a while, lockdown, pandemic and everything. We've been on hold, and we had this one little brief window where it was like, maybe we could work on something. And we had been talking about doing a cover song, and it was getting close to Halloween. And so my first thought was like, oh, what if we do something from like The Nightmare Before Christmas? And I was sending you all these tracks, and you were the one that said, you know, I remember months ago we were talking, and you had said that the song that you wanted to cover most was this David Bowie song from the movie Labyrinth. And you said,
'cause I love the film.
Which I do too. I can watch it every day, all day, and never get tired of it. It's such a wonderful film. I love Jim Henson, the Muppets. I mean, he just was a brilliant man. So when you said that, I just thought, oh my God, she's really down to do this. And I know you love David Bowie. I love David Bowie. But this was a really weird, everything about the song, the timing, the structure. It's a soundtrack song. It's a score with David Bowie's vocals on it that's specifically scored around that scene in that film. So, you know, I'm just curious. My question to you is, when we decided to do this and you went for it, like, how did it go down? Like, what was it like tackling this song? What was your experience like?
Okay, I was very excited to do something Wire Wasteland after not being able to do this for several months. It transpired that my partner went out one evening to go and visit a family member. So I had a window of time where I had the house to myself, so I was able to sing, because I'm conscious of, you know, recording vocals when somebody else is in the house, because it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. So my partner went out, and I was able to, you know, you'd done this piece of music, and you pretty much laid out this wonderful rendition of the original track, and I was then able to get to work. So I set my microphone up and got in the zone, and just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of did it. I did maybe 2 or 3 takes, because I only had like maybe 4 hours to do it.
4 hours. I'm serious, do you guys hear this? 4 hours.
Well,
listen to the song. 4 hours. This is who this woman is. Okay,
I think it was about 4 hours. You know, I just kind of did it. I did the takes. And then I think I sent you, I went through a couple of the I went through all of the takes and picked out the bits, you know, the two. I think I picked out the 2 takes that I liked, and then I sent you those. And you know, I let you be the judge which ones you wanted to use. And the timing was. You're right. The song itself it does have weird timing, and I didn't quite get it right because my metronome wasn't working on my Cubase for some reason. I don't know why. But I was panicking by this point because my metronome wasn't working. I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I just kind of did. I just went to, look, Jules, just get on with it, do it, because you haven't got all night. You've got to do this. So I did it. Yeah, I just kind of did it, and the timing wasn't perfect, but it was kind of there. And you tweaked it a little bit, and it was amazing what you did anyway. And I just really enjoyed being able to do that on that particular. I enjoyed the process, even though my metronome thing was a bit annoying. But it was a very small thing, really. I genuinely enjoyed singing again. It was just great just to be able to blow the cobwebs out the pipes, you know.
See, that's 5,000 times more impressive that not only in this short period of time with this song that has the weirdest timing structure ever, but with no metronome even to give you a guide as to where to go. I don't always
use a metronome actually, but I think I needed it on this song, but it wasn't working. It wasn't working. So that's the end of our question session. And Em and myself are planning to sort of do this as a regular thing, maybe every couple of weeks or so, or we just kind of go with it. And we're thinking of inviting guests on. So you know, if anyone out there would like to join us at all for a session,
give us a shout.
Yeah. On our Twitter. Just at us at Wire Wasteland, or you can contact either myself or Em, Pink Logic with a K on the end.
Name is Pink Logic with a K on the end.
Plike Project. You've probably seen us around anyway. So.
You can learn all about us too if you go to our wirewasteland.com website.
Yeah.
We've got all of our music listed there, all of our links, all of our social links and everything, and you can also send us a message that way if you'd like to as well.
Yeah. Yes, we have an email. It's one of those modern things that we have.
We're cool like that. Well, Jules, thank you for doing this with me. It's been so much fun, and I love you, and we love all of you guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for your support, everybody.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye.